Howdy, gang. Probably not going to have any special guests on here with me tonight for the Deliverance watch along. Um, Chris, I know, had a big day today. He had a sale that he was at, and he and Candace had been planning a birthday party for their nephews. So, um, usually Chris likes to join me on these, but um, you can't have somebody on here with you on all of these. So I'll probably end up going it alone tonight. But I'll try to make it as fun as I can for those of you that participate tonight, or for those of you that maybe don't get to be on it, watch it as it's live and going on. I want to watch it on the replay and watch Deliverance on your own as you listen to this. So I'll try to make it as interesting as I possibly can tonight. Just a reminder of what's upcoming. I'm going to try to do a much better job of getting the stuff out there, so that everybody knows what's coming up. I may do the schedule again that looks like a little TV guide grid, but I think probably my key to getting people to actually come in here or be interested is to put the promotion out as early as I can on those. And so I'm going to try to get the whole week's worth up on YouTube. So at a glance, again, you can know what's coming up on what day. And if there's something that you're interested in joining in on, you can touch base with me and we'll make sure that you get the link. Um, may not have anybody in the chat, may not really have anybody watching tonight, which is okay. I'll go ahead and do the watch along regardless, because there might be people that want to watch it on the replay. Uh, so, what we've got coming up for tomorrow, we've got a watch along and a movie munchies. I've got both of the promotions out for those as we speak. So tomorrow's watch along, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time, will be Southern Comfort. I kind of consider it like a companion movie to Deliverance. And then the movie Munchies is going to be, and I have to give Blissful credit for this because she messaged me and said, "Why don't you do fried chicken?" And she says it's Southern. And I was like, well, yeah, that's a good idea. So you can thank Blissful for giving me the idea to do some fried chicken for the movie Munchies tomorrow, starting at 3 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be Southern Comfort fried chicken and butter dip biscuits. So I've already got that promotion up on YouTube. So be sure to check those out so you know what's coming up. And also, you can subscribe and hit the notification bell and all that stuff so that you don't miss any of the streams. Now, I know that YouTube is sometimes kind of iffy about whether it notifies people or not. I know I have some channels that I've subscribed to that no matter how many times I unsubscribe and subscribe from them to try to fix it, it has a big slash through the bell and won't let me say all notifications or whatever. So I don't know what's going on there. So anyway, in a little bit, we're going to get started with Deliverance. I do have the Warner Brothers Blu-ray. That's what I'm watching tonight. And I do have it queued up for anybody that might be watching along tonight or in the future might be watching this on the replay. I do have it up on the Warner Brothers, a Warner Communications Company logo. And if you have the subtitles on, it says Bobby Laughing. So we're going to get started here in just a little bit, but I want to give people a few minutes, 2 or 3 minutes, to get queued up in case they're watching the movie and they want to get queued up to where I am. I didn't do my homework. Sorry about that, folks. So I'm not sure if it's on YouTube or Tubi or anything like that for free, but I would trust that everybody is capable of looking that up in, in case they don't own their own personal copy. Sometimes I do the legwork and I like to do that just in case. But this time I was a little lax in doing that. I guess I could say some things about the shop. The shop, Deadites on Deck, at deaditesondeck.com. Be sure to visit that for horror candles, horror t-shirts, Booga Booga Bears, and Terror Time teas. I'm about to do a taste test, a personal taste test on the Herbert's Folly, which is a chocolate mint tea, and see if I've got the right amount of ingredients in there to make a good tea. So, y'all wish me luck on that one. Um, Also, there are going to soon be mouse pads available, just like this one that I made for myself. I won't have this design on there because I figured who's going to want an Evil Dead chick design except me, right? But you'll be able to get any of the designs that are offered as t-shirts printed onto a mouse pad, and those will be $15 a piece. As soon as I get off my lazy butt and put that on the shop. Um, Also, there will be tumblers coming soon for $20. Um, and coffee mugs as well for 15. Um, and hopefully some more stuff. I'm wanting to try pizza boxes. And these will be like collector's pizza boxes. I wouldn't recommend that you put real pizza in them unless you just want to have to throw it away eventually. But what I am planning with those pizza box designs is not only things like Little Nero's Pizza from Home Alone, or maybe one of the pizza places on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but hey, Blissful, but if there's any kind of like uh, pizza that you can think of that's in a movie like the Burbs. We got the pizza dude coming. He talk, Ricky, Corey Feldman's character, talks about the pizza dude coming during the last quarter of the Burbs movie. So if you wanted like a custom design, you said, "Hey Dana, I want a custom design pizza box that's Burbs related." Okay, I would know what you meant by that, and I would work with you. I would come up with a design. I'd say, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And then you could yay or nay, or say, "Can you tweak that? Or can you add this? Or can you take that away? I don't like that." I will work with you because I am offering custom work now. So that means t-shirts. It could be the mouse pads, the tumblers I'm going to be putting on there, the coffee mugs, the well, even down to the Booga Booga Bears. Those are customized t-shirts. You have to tell me what kind of design that you want on there. If you don't mind sending me pictures of your kids and or uh, grandchildren, you want to put them on there. You want to put your pets on there, your dogs, cats, birds, guinea pigs, snakes, whatever. Yes, exactly. Blissful's got the right idea. One stop Christmas gift ideas, or birthday or whatever. Hey, Batman. Batman says, "Can you squeal like a piggy? Come on, squeal." Which goes along with the movie that we're going to be watching tonight. So, I guess we'll go ahead and get started, and I will do the countdown we'll go ahead and get this movie started for those of you that's going to be watching along. Even if you're not watching along, some people say that it's soothing. I know Blissful told me it was soothing to hear me talk about whatever I'm talking about, whether I'm talking about a movie, doing a watch along, or I'm talking about something else, movie related or whatever, or book related, music related, whatever. So let's go ahead and do this 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get this party started here. So 3, 2, 1, press play. So we're hearing, if you were listening to the sound, which I can't play the audio because that would get me in trouble. This is, of course, a John Boorman film. But you would have heard the voices talking before this came on. Burt Reynolds is in this, John Voight. And Steve's coming back here. Yeah, Batman's already talking about squealing like a pig. We haven't got to that part yet, though. Of course, we're just at the beginning.
I'll see you later.
All right. Steve's going to bed, everybody.
I'm just laying down and relaxing.
Or he's relaxing. This movie also has Ned Beatty and Ronnie Cox. Those are familiar names to a lot of you guys and gals that watch a lot of movies. Yeah, Ninja Steve's going to lay down, gang. Oh, yeah, Batman, you say you had a hectic day of taping up boxes and moving stuff over to the apartment. Yeah, I remember when I moved in with Steve, that was me and Steve were both worn completely out by the end of the day. And sorry if you hear the dogs barking. I don't know what they're barking about now. Steve was probably getting his package in that he got from Amazon, I believe, today. So you got a group of friends that are going on an outing. But they're basically they're going into the deep south, and this is kind of the movie that I feel like started all as far as you know going into the deep south or going into a place that you don't normally go into and accidentally angering some people that live there, and that's exactly what these guys are going to do, and it's not going to be very good. Batman, you say on Facebook you found another movie that had Chuck Mitchell from Porky's in it called Hollywood Zap. That movie sounds familiar to me, but I don't believe I've seen it, but for some reason that title sounds familiar. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals have heard of dueling banjos and dueling banjos in association with this film in particular. So keep an eye out. Because as you can see, I think that's Ronnie Cox there with the guitar. So they're asking for help basically from the locals to help them get where they're going. So as you can see here, the out of town guys, the city guys, are kind of mocking these people. And we're going to find out that that's not a good thing to do. So this is the kid. This is the, I feel like this is one of the more famous shots of the film before the bad things actually start happening. So we see this kid and he's playing his banjo. Ronnie Cox is playing his guitar. And this is where the dueling banjos comes into play. And it seems that this kid is able to perfectly mimic what Ronnie Cox is playing on his guitar. So the old man is telling Burt Reynolds' character that maybe he can get the Griner or Greener brothers to drive that car down to Aintree. They keep talking about Aintree here. And you can tell that these people don't trust the outsiders at all. And I really, really like this series of scenes because it's the calm before the storm. And I think it really sets the tone for this movie because you get lulled into a false sense of security here, and I think that was the purpose of doing this because the old man is dancing, the kid is playing the banjo, and Ronnie Cox is playing his guitar. But we can see that there's something, just not right there because the kid refuses to play anymore. So now they're going to the Griner brothers because that's where the old man says they should go to find somebody to drive their vehicle to Aintree. So we find out that the men are going to go on a canoe trip, but they need someone to drive two vehicles down to Aintree. But you can see again that these people are kind of distrustful, and this is kind of like a horror movie scenario. He's saying, "What in the hell are y'all wanting to go there for?" It's one of those crazy Ralph kind of scenarios. What you shouldn't be messing around there. And John Voight's character is like, listen, why don't we just go back to town and play golf? Why do we have to proceed with this? So Burt Reynolds' character says, I'll give you $30. And he says, I'll take 50. And John Voight's saying, Lewis, he's telling Burt Reynolds' character, don't play games with these people. And then he finally says, I'll do it for 40. And you see the one guy put a gun in the truck. Back in the days when they used maps, no like GPS or navigation on your phones or anything like that. This is basically the wild, wild west of finding where something's at. So Ed is saying, I think you better let them show us where it's at. And Lewis is like, you're missing the point. I don't know why he's driving so fast either. I'm not sure if there is a 4K of this movie or not. I haven't checked in a while, but the Blu-ray looks very good. I think may have had a DVD of this before the Blu-ray, but this looks about the best I've seen. So they've found the river now. It looks like they have a crossbow or something. I'm not really sure if they were planning on going hunting, like deer hunting or something. And you're gonna kind of see if you guys and gals tune in tomorrow night for Southern Comfort, you're gonna kind of see some parallels, some similar things, similar scenes uh, that happen in Deliverance that also happen in Southern Comfort as well. It's a different set of people. These seem to be just regular guys, just a group of friends. And the guys in Southern Comfort are military, like army guys. Now, if it was me, I wouldn't mind doing a little canoeing, but I don't think I would want to get in this rough water. If I was gonna be in something this rough, I'd wanna be in a controlled environment, not out in the wilderness somewhere. But the scenery is beautiful on this film. So we're seeing the kid again with his banjo, but the kid ain't biting this time. Now they're getting into some really wild water. Batman, you say, what do you guys prefer, Deliverance or the Deer Hunter? Batman, that's probably not the answer you're gonna want to hear from me, but I like them both about equal. I enjoy both films. I think the Deer Hunter might be a little more intensive, a little more in depth. Um, and the Deer Hunter has to do with the Vietnam War, and this doesn't specifically have anything to do with the war. I mean, they may mention war, but this particular story does not have to do with war. Sorry, guys and gals, I keep yawning. I may have to get up here in a minute and go get something. See, this is why I would be scared of something like that because I'm not a big fan of drowning, right? Hey, Russell. Speaking of canoeing, my sister in law has been doing some canoeing, but I don't think she's been in any rough stuff. I think the kind of canoeing she's doing has been pretty calm. It's the kind that I wouldn't mind doing. Batman, you say both are pretty good, and the only thing I remember from Deer Hunter is the Russian roulette they were forced to play. Yeah, that is a big scene in the Deer Hunters, that Russian roulette scene, and I think speaking of that, I think Christopher Walken is fantastic in it. Now I see what they're using the arrows for now. Um, I think my dad used to do that. I think he used to. It might have been carp that he actually took a bow and arrow out when it would flood and the backwaters would rise. My dad would go and take a bow and arrow and actually shoot carp. Russell, you say you were 16 when you saw this film? It was much, much later for me. I didn't see Deliverance for the first time until it was probably a little bit before me and Steve were married. And me and Steve got married in 2013. So I don't know about everybody else that's watching this, but when he just shot that fish, that looked pretty realistic. I think a real fish must have been killed. Either that or it was stock footage. But it didn't really look like stock footage, so. But at least it appears that they ate the fish. I think Ronnie Cox's character is my favorite character in this movie because he seems more of like a hippie-ish type of character, a peaceful character. And John Voight's character of Ed uh, seems like a likable character. Now, the Burt Reynolds character and the Ned Beatty character, even though something really bad's going to happen to Ned Beatty eventually in this film, seem to be the instigators, the ones that antagonize these local people. But you always got to have one or two of those people that piss off the locals and then bad things happen. If you didn't have that happen, there would be no movie, right? Russell, you said the only thing I can remember about Deer Hunter was the song Can't Take My Eyes Off of You. That's right. I do have the Deer Hunter. I think I've got a 4K of the Deer Hunter. And, if you want to see the Deer Hunter in the best version, that is probably the best version. So this is like typical like horror movie stuff here because they're camping out. Lewis went away, and now he came up behind the rest of them, scared the crap out of them. He's saying he thought he heard something, and Bobby's saying heard someone or something. So yeah, Ronnie Cox's character is Drew. Now they're talking about, it's typical things that guys talk about when they get together, things about puberty and growing up and all that. And Ed makes the point that nobody can find us up here. That becomes a big issue soon, that nobody can find us up here. That can be a curse and it can be a blessing. In this case, it's going to turn out to be a curse for these guys. But guys and gals, I hate to take myself out of the stream, especially when I don't have anybody to carry on the conversation with you guys while I go away. However, I do have to run to the restroom, and I guess because I can't quit yawning, I'm going to have to get me a little something to eat. So I will be right back. But y'all just carry on watching the movie if you're watching along. Okay, gang, so I'm back. Oh, Russell, you say we got a tornado warning up in northern Ontario? Well, you stay safe, buddy. I've got a lemon layer cake, Pepperidge Farms, but I had to take it out of the freezer and let it thaw or get to room temperature for 20 minutes. So, and then I can cut me a piece. Um, but I think my blood sugar was low, so I accidentally got, these regular Mountain Dews by accident. Got my money back, but they don't take the stuff back that they send to you wrong. So I'm utilizing these if I have low blood sugar. I was going to get a piece of that cake, but I didn't know it's going to take so long to thaw. So, and I didn't want to mess around too much and leave y'all hanging. So we're seeing these guys in the woods here that seem to just be observing um, the city guys, Bobby and Lewis and Ed and Drew. So Bobby's attempting to talk to these two guys who showed up. One of them has a very big gun. And the guy wants to know, what the hell are y'all doing? And, they're telling them, we're having a little canoe trip. And these guys are saying, you ain't never going to get to Aintree. And they said, well, why not? He said, because this river don't go to Aintree. You done taken the wrong turn. So now they think, these guys got a steal, that they're wanting to not let anybody know about. Now these guys that just showed up are getting all upset. So things are starting to turn south in more ways than one here. So they're wanting Bobby and Ed to go up in the woods with them. So they're tying Ed up, or they're tying him to the tree here. So this is we're soon coming up on what's referred to as a squeal like a pig scene. Um, Poor Ned Beatty. So I will say this for Ned Beatty as an actor, he was one tough guy to do this. Yeah, I'd forgotten that, Russell. You said the writer of the book has a cameo as the sheriff. This is a very rough scene to watch. Um, to me, this is the roughest scene to watch is some of the rape revenge films. And that grin where that guy's got his front teeth missing, that's just bizarre. There's the he's got a real pretty mouth scene. So Lewis just shot one of the guys. That's right, Russell. You said Ned Beatty is great as the corrupt sheriff with Burt Reynolds and White Lightning. Yeah, for some people, Blissful, watching this film once would be enough. I haven't seen this for a while. So a lot of this stuff is fresh for me. So the first part of this movie's went pretty quickly. We've got about an hour and 1 minute left. So Lewis is, saying, we shot a mountain man. And he says, shit, all these people are related. And, I don't want to stand trial with his aunt and his uncle and all that stuff. So this is basically like a lot of other films, horror or otherwise. And this is not a horror film. This has a lot of horrific stuff going on in it, but not a horror film. But I've seen this happen many times in horror films where, justifiable or not, there's always at least one or two people that say, we can't go to the authorities with this. We're going to go to prison for this, or there'll be Southern justice on us in this case. And now the arguments start between the men. So Lewis is saying we got to get rid of the guy, this dead guy. So keep in mind, though, that the other guy got away. And so Drew is saying, how do you know that other guy didn't go to get the police? Or what if he went and got some other mountain man? So Bobby, that's Ned Beatty's character, who's just been violated, he says, let's bury him. I don't want this getting around. So now poor Ed, he's the deciding factor in what they're going to do. So everybody except Drew wants to just basically bury this guy to hide him. This is kind of one of the famous shots, too, of them carrying the dead guy around. And they are indeed planning on burying this guy. Guys, believe it or not, even though it's hot as can be outside, I'm going to reach over and turn this air conditioner off back here because I'm getting chilled. So what their plan is just to paddle down to Aintree and get the cars and go home. Now, that is if those guys that they trusted with their cars actually got the cars down to Aintree, right? So it appears like Drew's went into shock or something. Um, so he just went over the side of the canoe. And then one of the canoes broke in half. And they're all like, it's all men overboard basically at this point. I do love the way that they filmed this, though. This is literally almost as if the camera was on these men rolling around in this water with them. So they can't find Drew because Drew just was like first man overboard, basically. So it, it's come to light that Drew was shot. And Lewis's leg is broken. Well, actually, looks like something's sticking out of his leg. So they're convinced now that the other guy, the guy that got away, is going to pick them off by one now. So basically, they're saying, Lewis, you were the guy with all the answers. Now, what are we going to do? So we see Ed trying to climb up this gorge to try to find the guy that shot Drew. Um, Somehow, I don't imagine this is going to end well. Um, we see him looking in his wallet at his picture of his wife and kids, and then he drops the wallet. And I feel like what this part of the movie is showing us is I think everybody feels like um, they're in a at one time or another. It's felt like they're in a helpless situation that they're not gonna make it. Um, they're trapped or whatever by whatever situation that they're in. Um, so like this seems very real to me. As I would imagine for those of you watching this tonight, or maybe that will watch it later if you're watching this on the replay, that this scene has a lot of metaphorical qualities in it. But we can see that Ed has made it to the top. So he's seeing a guy with a gun. He's got an arrow. He's trying to be very quiet about putting the arrow on the bow there. So he couldn't quite shoot this guy. Now this guy has got a gun pointed at him. So somebody else shot that guy in the back with an arrow. But that's not. Well, I guess he did manage to shoot him this time, but I don't think this was the right guy. That's okay, Blissful. You gotta take those phone calls when they come in. And unfortunately, Ed was lowering that body down into the water, and he fell into the water, and he's becoming entangled in the rope that was around the dead body. I believe Bobby's trying to help him here. We can see, though, it appears that the dead guy, has got a wedding ring on, though. So we're down to the last 27 minutes, and so um, Ed and Bobby are trying to get Lewis out of there and trying to get themselves out of there. So now, unfortunately, they found Drew's body with the arm in a very unnatural position there. That is very gruesome. This is a scene that, I clearly remember after seeing this movie again. So they're checking to see if Drew had indeed been shot. So instead of taking Drew's body to somebody that can find out if he was shot, they tied a big stone to Drew's body and just let it sink into the water. I think I'm seeing a little bit of a goof here because I don't know about you guys and gals that are watching along, but I don't see Burt Reynolds in the middle of that canoe as their, you know, I mean, you can see up close you see him, but in those wider shots, you do not see Burt Reynolds. So I think that's a goof. Like some of those shots, it clearly looks like the bottom of that canoe is empty. So now they're having to make up a story that, now that they're back, that everything that happened, the accident with Lewis's leg and everything happened there. So it's no longer Lewis that's in charge and telling everybody what to do. Now, um, Ed is. So they find out that the two guys did bring their vehicles. And this kid's saying, did you come for the car, sir? And he's asking to use a phone. And they say, yes, sir. So now we're seeing the ambulance come for Lewis. And we're like, what in the world happened to you guys? So Bobby's staying behind to talk to the cops, and Lewis and Ed are going to the hospital. And of course, Ed got, he accidentally got an arrow in his side. So you see that Bobby is there, and now Ed is there, and you're seeing good Southern hospitality right here. The sharing of the food, all the food that they have, they're sharing with Bobby, and they're sharing with Ed. It's kind of like a Sunday supper here, or a Sunday dinner, whatever way that you say it. They're passing the bowls around and taking food. And at this point, Ed breaks down. And then they start talking about a cucumber, a very large cucumber, and it kind of almost makes things right again, for Ed at least. So Bobby's saying, Ed, we're in trouble. They don't believe us. So now Ed and Bobby are fighting because Ed's like, Bobby, you told him the truth. You cracked, didn't you? And he said, I told him the story we agreed on, but I don't think they believed me. So now they're basically out there dragging the river. So they're dragging this river to see if they find any bodies. So, gang, we're at the last 9 minutes of the film, and we're soon going to be wrapping this one up. Now, usually if I have somebody on here with me, I will stay on here a little bit later. But I probably won't, bore you guys and gals by staying on here too much after the movie's over. I will stay for the duration of the movie, so we've got a final few minutes of the movie left. And part of those minutes is probably going to be credits. So I think they're going to either see how Lewis is doing or to get him. And the doctor's saying there's a chance Lewis might lose his leg, but they're doing everything they can. So there's an officer there that I guess they're still waiting for him to come around so they can talk to him. So he's telling Lewis, who's not really awake yet, that, we had to change our story. Lewis opens his eyes. I think Lewis has been playing, so the cop won't know he's awake. So basically he's saying, I didn't know what happened on that last set of rapids. Hey, Hemi. So the sheriff's saying, you boys about ready to leave. And he's, asking if the Griner boys brought these cars down for him. I'm doing good, Hemi. How are you doing tonight? So the sheriff's saying, how come y'all had an extra life jacket? So the cop's basically saying, don't come. Yeah, he's saying, don't come back up here. And, basically, we don't want to see you around here again. So Ed's going back to the river. I did have a birthday not too long ago on the 6th. So Ed's back home with his family, his wife and his kid. But you're seeing a hand come up out of the river, and it turns out it's a nightmare that Ed had. Yeah, you got to watch out for the Geminis, don't you, Blissful? So we have officially reached the end of Deliverance. In case you were watching along, if you were not watching along, we are at the post credit sequence, and they filmed. a lot of this in the Appalachian Mountains and some of it in Georgia and stuff. So, in case you were wondering where they filmed it, but for those of you that were watching and this was your first time around watching Deliverance, I hope you have enjoyed watching this film. It's not an easy film to watch. What Blissful said a little bit earlier about she'd seen this one time and that was enough. For a lot of people, it's going to be like that. It's not a feel good film by any stretch of the imagination, but I do think it's a very well made film. I think it's an important film to watch. Um, but I'm not going to put anybody down if they don't want to watch it or say, hey, Dana, that's not my cup of tea. Um, but I want to thank you guys and gals. We've had varying amounts of people um, on this stream tonight. And I really I appreciate all of you guys and gals that turned out for this, whether you were watching or you were just listening to me talk or you were participating in the chat. However you wanted to do things, I'm glad that you were here with me tonight. And I hope that many, if not all of you, can tune in tomorrow night when we're going to be watching Southern Comfort. And I'm also going to be making Southern Comfort fried chicken. Oh, thank you, Hemi, and thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, great live, Dana. And Hemi says, we appreciate you. Well, I appreciate all of you guys and gals. And as I was saying, be making Southern Comfort fried chicken and butter dip biscuits in honor of these two movies on the South, basically. Um, so, um, yeah, that's what I've got planned for tomorrow. And I also want to, because I don't know if Blissful was in here whenever I was giving her credit for giving me the idea to make fried chicken for the movie Munchies to kind of go along with the theme of the movies I had this weekend for the watch along. So thank you, Blissful, for giving me the idea to do that. So I'm going to be making some Southern fried chicken. Actually, I'm calling it Southern Comfort fried chicken to go along with tomorrow night's watch along. Leslie, you say I'll hopefully be able to master fried chicken. And Hemi, you say I'm in for the chicken. So I hope I'm able to do this chicken justice. I've actually got to thaw some chicken out and put it in bags and put it with the seasoning and let it sit overnight so that it will be all ready to go for tomorrow's movie munchies, and that'll be at 3 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. The watch along for Southern Comfort will be at 7 p.m. Eastern time. And I guess I'm going to call it a night, folks, so I can, one, get that chicken ready and finish up a few things and get some rest tonight and be ready for Sunday, because Sunday's going to be busy for me doing, two different things, movie munchies and also the watch along. Hemi, you're hungry already? A lot of people tell me when I do these movie munchies that I do make them very hungry watching. And I echo what Blissful says. Have a great night, everyone. So I'm off like a dirty shirt. And I want to remind everybody before I get off of here, as always, I want to remind you to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. Let's have a fantastic rest of our Saturday and make Sunday wonderful. And let's get ready for the start of the work week, because that's what we have to do after the weekend, right? Unfortunately, we have to start that week back over again with the work week. Um, but I'm out of here, folks, and I will see everybody next time.